Welcome to Gyantalk. If you still have that notion that beauty and brain do not coexist, it's time for you to change your thinking. Because tonight with me is somebody who has both the twin qualities. She is beautiful and at the same time she is brilliant with a mind. Before I actually zoom the camera on her, let me quickly tell you something about her. She is the only Sikkimese girl, the first and perhaps the only Sikkimese girl who has won a prestigious Sananda Tilotama title 2007 from Calcutta. And if you did not know, Bipasa Basu, Tanushree Datta, Selina Jetli were the former title holders. And then she had also participated in Miss Pune 2006 and she was one of the top 5 finalists. But somehow she decided to sideline her modeling aspiration and she completely focused on her education, and she finally got her master's in business management from Great Lakes in Chennai, and she joined corporate world, and there also she made her mark. She became the first female worker in that company to have achieved 40% YOY, which we will then tell you. We actually will ask her what that means, and then she also became the first female manager to have achieved to have actually managed the biggest corporate Gati, and we will again ask her what she did there. So now, without wasting much time, I would like you to join me in welcoming my guest tonight, and she is none other than Karishma Pradhan. And let me also quickly tell you, Karishma Pradhan has left everything behind. She's left her job, a very, very lucrative job. She was working in all the big cities in India and decided to come back to the sleepy state of Sikkim, and now she's already started her entrepreneurial journey, and we will trace that as well. Thank you so much for coming to my show.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, it was our pleasure. It's our pleasure. Let's begin with your decision to go away from Sikkim in the first place. Why did you go?
So this was in the year 2005.
Right.
In 2005, after I, I passed out from my school. For my higher studies, of course, I wanted to study in the best colleges and best universities, and education somehow for me has been one of the most important aspects. I've always been a very studious and an introvert student throughout my life. So without a doubt, when I got selected in Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce, which also ranks as the top 8 in commerce, when I got an admission in that college, I decided to do my graduation.
For you to leave Sikkim?
Yes,
okay.
Education.
And then how did you get distracted, so to speak, into modeling?
So as a kid, of course, as many young women, as many young girl child, they aspire to become a beauty pageant winner, right?
So
even I had my
conscious
aspirations.
of your beautiful appearance. You always knew that
I wasn't beautiful. I don't think I was that beautiful, but I always aspired to be a model. I always wanted to, have my photos clicked and all of that. However, till I was in class 12, I was so shy. I couldn't speak to my, if someone would ask me.
That really worked to your advantage, because then you could focus on education.
Right, it did. In fact, I used to spend my entire summer vacation at home reading books. And at that time, Harry Potter was the biggest, book series that had come out, and I was engrossed. I was that kid. So as a kid, I was so shy. However, I always wanted to come out in the limelight because I had a good height. I'm 5'6". So even back in those days also people used to tell me, why she's so tall. I don't think, you know, she's not going to get any guy to match her height. But then as I went in college, I saw that there were so many events and activities and groups that were formed, and the kids over there out in the cities, they are so active. I think since they are in 8th standard, 7th standard, they start participating in a lot of competitions, and they get a feel of it. They know what competition is all about. So when I was in first year, I saw this ad for Mr. and Miss Pune in 2006, and I thought to myself, you know, here no one knows me. Even if I...
let me have a go at it.
Let me have a go at it, because even if I make the biggest mistake of my life, I mean, you know, people back home...
But did you take your parents' permission?
No, I did not. I did not tell them because, you know, I didn't want to feel the pressure of everyone knowing that I was participating in the competition, and because I'd be pressurized.
I tell you, Miss Pune is a big thing, particularly when you consider Pune's proximity to Mumbai.
Right.
And Mumbai is where you've got all these big stars and stuff. So did you have, मुम्बईको छेउछेउको मान्छेहरुसँग म कसरी कम्पिट गर्ने, you know, त्यस्तो खालको एउटा feeling आयो क्या?
Not even once. I don't know, like I'm shy, but not even once did I not have faith in myself. Not even once did I think that I'm maybe not at par with the people from mainland India.
Inferiority complex was never your problem?
Never, never. Inferiority complex was never my problem. I think...
but you were not overconfident as well?
No, I wasn't overconfident. I wanted to learn, I think, you know, that is what...
So what was the most precious thing that you learned from that competition?
State of mind. You know, because I made
who was your judge?
Dino Moria.
Dino Moria.
So we were...
What did he say to you?
Yeah, so coming to that, so we had a 1-month grooming session with Mr. Lovell Prabhu. So let me say something about him, because you know, otherwise it wouldn't do justice to who he is. So he's trained a lot of Miss Indias, and he's a very famous choreographer from Bombay. So he had come to Pune, stayed with us for 1 month, and he had literally groomed us on walking, diction, how we should...
So he gives individual attention to every single...
Right. So we were 20 contestants in total, 10 men and 10 females, and all of us were given individualized attention, and we were groomed for 1 month. So on the final day, I think, you know, because at that time, of course, you just started off, right? So you only concentrate on your physical appearance. So similar thing happened to me as well. So I was asked, if love is blind, why do women wear makeup? And I literally froze on stage.
So that is Dino Moria asking you?
Yeah, so there were like about all the major newspapers covering it, of course, because it's the biggest event that's happening in Pune, right? And I completely froze. I didn't know what to say. I think I gave the lamest... I didn't even watch the video after that, because that answer was so lame. You know, I could feel it as soon as I said it. That's when I realized I wasn't prepared for, I think, being quick with your answers. When you go on stage, there's so much, everyone's watching you, you know, and...
But I think that basically contradicted your philosophy, because you were giving so much, you know, attention to your appearance, and suddenly there's a question that is contesting your philosophy.
Right.
And normally you are very quick at thinking on your feet.
I am, right. But then when you go on stage, it's a complete different ball game altogether. I think I gave something very stupid, like I don't believe in love, or like, you know, and beauty is not, love does not depend on beauty, or something very weird. I don't even remember. No, of course not. I lost that competition. I was in top 5, that's it. After that,
But you know, being one of the top 5 in Pune, Miss Pune contest is not a child's play. That should make you really, really proud, and I'm sure you are proud about that.
Right.
And so now tell us about your Tilotama journey.
Yeah, so after I came back home, I was so embarrassed, and I think I was very disappointed on myself, because here I thought I could, I could be on top, and I'm smart, right, in terms of because I've always been someone who has taken education as a priority, and I'm someone who reads a lot, and I used to think I'm intelligent, but when I went on stage, I thought I was the dumbest person alive.
I'll give you another chance. If you were asked that question today,
right,
what would you have said?
I think I would say that makeup is an art of expressing oneself through the use of colors. So it has nothing to do with love, or it's just your expression, because you love yourself. That's why you're expressing through the use of colors and all of that. It's nothing to do with a guy loving you just because you're beautiful.
Perhaps I would have said that just to blind him from seeing my bad qualities. Anyway, so Tilotama was the next year.
Right.
So how did you get the entry?
So what I did after that was I trained myself. I groomed myself religiously for 1 year. I would, every day I would watch, that time YouTube wasn't there, so I would Google, I would go on the go on internet, and
kind of
Google, and obsessed. I was like obsessed with sort of getting my answers right, and being quick with what is it that, because
So did you end up idolizing some idols, some icons?
So, for me, I idolize a lot of, so I love entrepreneurs, right? Somehow, for me, that's, so I love how Richard Branson's life's been, from, who he was and how he started off and how he did his business and all of that, and how quick and how good they are in giving, at interviews. So I used to not get a chance to watch a lot of interviews. Of course, Sushmita Sen was one of my idol because of the answer that she's given at Miss Universe and all of that. But then, so I prepared myself, and then it was my dad. So because I was studying in Pune, so my dad told me that there's this very big competition happening in Calcutta. Why don't you apply for it? Then I said, who's going to go to Calcutta? I don't know. But then somehow slyly he and I had some pictures from my shoot, from my stint in Mr. and Miss Pune. So we had a couple of, I had a couple of pictures. So I think he got hold of it. He applied on my behalf, and he sent it across. Okay. So it wasn't even me who applied for that competition, but it was my dad who applied for that competition. And when I got the audition call, I was like, when did I apply? That's when my dad told me that, oh, I had applied it for you and all of that. So that was, and
how tough was the competition?
It was crazy. It was one of the most toughest thing I had ever have to go through in my life.
And Soba De was one of the judges.
Yes.
And then who else?
Vandana Luthra, the VLCC owner, Sabyasachi Mukherjee, the famous designer, Meher Rampal, the supermodel, Raghu Rai, the photographer.
Wow, Raghu Rai was there?
Yes. So they were our judges on the finale, on the final day.
So and what must have clicked in that contest?
I think I was very, I practiced a lot. I think I worked a lot. I worked hard for this competition. Every day I used to wake up at 4 in the morning. I used to give like 2 hours every day just on my question answer. That's it. Because see.
So what was the question on the final?
So on the final, on the top 5 question was, women make men laugh and cry. That's it. Say anything about it. Make a joke, share a story, anything. And Barry Jones and Dipanita Sharma were one of our hosts. So I said that men may be brave enough, but the bravery of giving birth to a man can be done by a woman alone.
Wow.
And it is at that exact moment that a woman makes a man laugh and cry at the same time.
Wow. That could have won you even Miss Universe. That answer is just brilliant.
Yes, it was quite, I think, at that time. I'm so proud of being a woman, you know.
Once you know, blurted out your answer, you perhaps knew that I'm going to be the title holder this year.
I still, you know, I am confident, but I'm not overconfident. I would still give the benefit of doubt to other contestants as well, because I had Dimpy Ganguly as one of our contestants, you know, Gladrack mega model, one of Rahul, who had Rahul Mahajan's ex-wife, Dimpy, the famous model, you know, the
so she was contesting.
Yes, and she was the second runner-up in the competition. And she's that the typical Bengali beauty, and she looks like Sharmila Tagore. So it was given that she would win that competition, because that was, I think, her third time or her second time that she'd actually applied for this competition, because it is that tough. Amongst thousands of applicants, 12 get selected from Calcutta, 4 get selected from Northeast, and 4 get selected from Jamshedpur, Orissa, and from that belt. So it's tough. We had, I think, the auditions were there for almost 3-4 days, and our judge and our the one who groomed us was the supermodel Noyanika Chatterjee. So she herself was there, you know, making sure that she selects the best.
Right. How many of us in Sikkim know actually that Sikkim has produced one of the, you know, some of the finest people in different fields like football, modeling. In fact, we've got, I think, 5-6 top footballers right now from Sikkim. We've got models, we've got actors, and it's my privilege that I'm sitting next to one of such persons right from our state. We will continue our conversation with her. Here we take a very short break. Please don't go away.
Is your smile reducing your confidence? Dental problems giving you sleepless nights? We are here to end your worries. At Dr. Smile, we provide world-class dentistry at your doorsteps. Equipped by advanced diagnostics and expert team of dental surgeons, we have treated over 20,000 patients in just 6 years. Your smile is precious, so trust Dr. Smile.
Welcome back to Gyantalk. I'm in conversation with Karishma Pradhan, and if you were watching our first segment, you would know who she is. Or perhaps you already knew before even I invited her to the show. I didn't know that, I knew that you were Tilotama title holder, but I didn't know the whole story, the inside story, which is just amazing. That almost floored me. Tetro Thulo title jitnu bhayo, then what was the next thing you wanted to do? I got that, you know, platform. So did you not plan to make that as your springboard to jump into the entertainment world?
Like I mentioned before, education has always been a priority to me. Somehow I've always been a bookworm, you know, and that's the life that I think, you know, I've built for myself. But then even with my modeling, I think that was something that I wanted to do, because I wanted to push myself. As I said, I was such an introvert. If you would have spoken to me, even on the streets also, if anyone asked me any question, I'd like just blush and not be able to answer. I would just freeze. I was that shy, you know. And from there, I think I just wanted to push myself, push my limit. And as I had aspired to be, you know, get into Miss India and be Miss World and Miss Universe as well, as every, you know, little girl aspires to be. So I thought, I think this is my, if I take any more time in developing my skills and knowing who I am, you know, as a human being, because a lot of times as students you don't pay attention to such kind of things, but when you grow up, you start thinking about, you start contemplating and thinking about what's your purpose of life and who are you, you know, why were you born in the world that you're born in, and as the person that you're born in, right, as a person you're born as. So I think I started questioning those questions very early on in life itself, and I had always been pulled towards education, and I wanted to complete my, and that's the one promise that my parents had made me make as well, that I'd never leave education for my passion and for what I wanted to do.
So did you not get offers from, you know, after you won that title?
I did. In fact, I was one of the brand ambassador for a brand called Rennie. So they're a very big brand. They have a chain of stores in Calcutta itself. So I was the brand ambassador for a year. I then went to Bombay, and then I did my acting class as well. I joined an acting school called Kishore Namak, the acting classes. I've done a couple of short films as well. And I did get offers after that, but nothing substantial, or nothing something that you sort of, you know, you want it to be your launch, right? But I did get a lot of good offers as well, but at that time it was clashing with my because I was preparing for my MBA as well, and it's quite Great Lakes being one of the, it comes in top 10 of RB schools right now in India, and it's very difficult to get in. So I had to prepare a lot for my to get into that.
So prioritizing education was a big decision on your part, right? And today you have no regrets?
Absolutely not. I think I am who I am because of the education I have received.
So when you finished your MBA from Great Lakes, did you get the job immediately, or?
So yes, I did get the job
What
immediately.
job did you get where? And
so I was hired in Gati as a business development sales manager. Actually, no, sorry. I was hired in Gati as a management trainee. So what management trainee does is get the coffee, you know, work around, get a feel of what the company is all about. But then I think I was very passionate about what I was doing at that time, because I literally used to make a lot of reports, because as management trainees you're not supposed to make those reports and do a lot of other work, but then I took those additional responsibilities because I think I wanted to learn and develop my skills. I think that's what I wanted to do by the end of it. So I took in a lot of additional responsibilities, and
that
within
must have
2 months.
impressed your boss as well.
Yes, so within 2 months itself I was
promoted.
Yes, so I was given so usually what happens is after a year they give you that responsibility and they give you a role and a position in a company, right? For me, within 2 months, so my head of sales and marketing for South Zone, since I was placed in Bangalore, so he told me this thing. He was like, Karishma, I am gonna take a chance with you. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop you in the ocean, and I'm
see
gonna
whether you can swim.
And I'm gonna see whether you're gonna swim back or not. If you drown, you die. If you come back, then you're gonna be a winner, and I'm gonna, you know, promote you, and I'm gonna give you a higher responsibility and better. So I was actually sent to a village, Sri Perambuttur in Chennai. So Chennai, from the main city, that's almost 40 kilometers one way. So it used to take me 2 hours just to go for my monthly meetings and all of that. So I was actually, and that's where Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated as well. So it's like in the farthest part of, it's not even in Chennai, you know. I was sent there, and I was given a dying branch, a branch that has no scope, right? And a branch that doesn't even have.
You were supposed to breathe life into it.
A branch that does not even have washroom for females, because they've never seen females in that branch, only men. And since it's logistics and transportation, right? And you know how we had to work with drivers, with runners, with our first shift in charge, and so I used to take care of sales, and we had our own operation division as well. So So that's where I started my career. And somehow I signed the biggest contract for them. That was Renault Nissan. I signed almost for 60 lakh business. I got 30 lakh business, air business in the first month itself.
Wow.
Yeah, and when they saw that, and
They say, I'm going to make a very racial comment here, and if you don't like, you can even punish me. They say that Pradhans have that, you know, business gene in them. Perhaps you had that and you utilized to the best.
my dad's a businessman as well. I think my granddad from
So you kind of inherited that trait, I
yes,
guess.
I think I learned from
Right.
like, you know, from absorbing him.
Right. So what happened towards the end of your Gati journey?
So I was heading the biggest branch in all over India. We were doing 14 CR business per month. I had, so when I started off, when I was in Chennai, I had 2 executives under me. When I left, I had 16 executives under me.
Wow.
So I was handling customers like Titan, Raga, Puma, your Madura Garments, Hero Honda, Carrier Media. I was Samsung. I was handling all of these customers by the end of
So
it.
40% YOY, can you explain that?
So 40% year-on-year growth. So what happens is, let's say March of last year, March of 2016, you've done like a 1 CR business. 40% growth of what you did last year is what I did in the next year itself.
Wow. And then you also became the first female to have.
Yes, I was. I think in Gati we were only. They only had 3 sales managers, female sales managers, out of which I was one of them, and I was the only one to. So my next. So after Chennai, I was shifted to Bangalore, which was the second highest business generating branch. So that was my slow transition, and then they moved me up to Gurgaon, which was the highest.
So you were very high flown, and deciding to then fly back into Sikkim and then land, literally with nothing to latch on. You know, how big was that? How big decision was that?
Not at all. It's not a big decision for me because you know money.
So you know, leaving all that behind, you know, you were doing so well, and I'm sure you were getting such a good salary and everything, and of course, you know, the joy of working with such a big company and
with
so many
huge
people,
team.
yeah, so many people behind you and stuff. Suddenly to, you know, lay that aside and decide to come back, wasn't that a big decision?
Not at all. I always knew in my heart and in my mind that I want to come back to my state and I want to work here. I want to make a difference out here.
When did you come here?
In Jan this year.
Jan this year.
Yeah.
So something must have triggered. What was the trigger? Why this December? Why Jan? Why not?
You know,
last year Jan?
Actually, I was wanting to come back a couple of years back, but somehow things didn't work out. And since I was, you know, I was growing in the company as well, and for me again, growth development is so important for me personally, you know. And I always have opted for such kind of lines and streams or work which is difficult, because at all times I want to push myself. I want to see how much further I can go, you know. And I've been meaning to come over here for a couple of years now, but it didn't work out because, you know, I thought maybe it's not the right time. I need to get some more experience. So I worked in more money as well, of course. Save some, travel around the world, you know.
You are a spender or a saver?
I think I'm both.
Yeah, because you are a model who spends and you are a businesswoman who saves.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah,
you can
but
say
I
that,
wanted to ask you, but then before we go to the next segment quickly, so models are basically the ones who spend. That's the public perception about them, and business people are the ones who are, you know, they're predisposed to save. How do you balance?
I have to say that models actually don't spend. It's the organizers who spend. So we are actually saving a lot of money.
Right.
Because your airfare, your food, everything is taken care of.
That's what models are actually. So they don't spend their own money, they actually make the holes in the pockets of others. Anyway, we will continue our conversation. We have to take a very short break. When we come back, we will ask her what she plans to do here in Sikkim and what has been her journey in Sikkim as a young entrepreneur. Please don't go away.
नमस्कार दर्शकवृन्द, तपाईहरुलाई अगावै याद भइसकेको कुरा नायुमा टेलिभिजनले प्रत्येक सप्ताह कार्यक्रम झलक विकली प्रसारण गरेको छ। कार्यक्रम झलक विकली यस्तो कार्यक्रम हो जसमा हप्ताभरिका खबरहरू समेटेर हामीले राज्य स्तरका, राष्ट्रिय स्तरका, अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय स्तरका अनि मनोरञ्जन र खेल जगतका खबरहरू देखाउन गरेका छौं। प्रत्येक शनिबार हेर्न नभुल्नुहोला अंग्रेजी समाचार पश्चात कार्यक्रम झलक विकली।
Welcome back to Gyantalk. I just asked her off the camera why she did not apply for, why did she not go for Miss India. She said she did, but when she applied, the minimum height was 5'7", which she was short by 1 inch, and that kind of worked. I don't know to her advantage or disadvantage, but here you are as an entrepreneur. Your journey started January this year in Sikkim as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Tell us, how has it been so far?
It has been incredible. I never, I always, I never thought that I would get so much love and encouragement and motivation, and I think I would meet such amazing like-minded people, and...
So, Karishma Pradhan never wanted to become a bureaucrat?
Never. Somehow, the government job has never been I don't think it's my forte. I don't think,
I know.
I'm someone who likes traveling a lot, meeting people.
You didn't want the government job to clip your wings. You wanted to fly.
Right, I'm a traveler.
Yeah, and that's why I am really interested in your journey, because I want Sikkimese young people to think the way you do, and try and explore and push the envelopes of your passion. So what do you do as an entrepreneur here?
So when I came back, I didn't want to invest a lot at one go itself, because it's very important to know what
so
your
very
market.
Careful with your money.
Not just careful, but I wanted to. I'm someone who does a lot of research before doing anything. Even when I was approaching Nissan for the contract, I did a lot of research on their history and where they're coming from and all of that, right? So I wanted to do my market research and everything. So I had actually started off with my market research 1 year back, before I came over here. So in Jan, I took up a 3 BHK apartment and I converted it into a service apartment. And then I went online and I had a very nice content, because these days when it comes to hospitality and when it comes to services, it's all about your content. How well are you able to connect with your customers, and how well you're able to inform your customers about what your services are all about. And so that's what. So working in these companies like Kati, Akado, since I was also working in a marketing company, it gave me that also that extra, I think, something, because I understood how I am supposed to market my my service apartment or my homestay or whatever business that I'm in. So when I started off with my service apartment, which is a 3 BHK, which has a fully functioning kitchenette, and then I also expanded it into a homestay as well. So I started off with my own homestay, and
which is in Gyantalk.
Which is in Gyantalk itself. So both the properties are in Gyantalk.
Homestay, urban homestay, is it a good idea?
It is. It is. It
Why
works.
should people go to homestay in urban areas, in cities like Gyantalk, as opposed to going to hotels?
Right now, traveling, the whole scenario when it comes to online traveling has changed exponentially, right? With companies like Airbnb, with companies like Booking.com and all of them your hotels or
Right.
your services
Right.
and all of that. So it has changed, and what I've seen, I question this to my customers a lot. I think there is a certain sort of a trust factor into it as well, even when because hotels, what usually that's the mindset that these people has, like or rather like my guest had, was like they cannot trust just based on the building, or just based on the linens, or just based on the pictures and all of that, right? But when it comes to homestay, you get a lot of on Airbnb, you get very realistic reviews.
Right.
You get very realistic reviews, and because
So
of that,
I'm guessing your serving service apartments is something like the bread and breakfast in the US and Canada.
right.
You-
Something very similar. Something very similar.
Ah.
So I have an in-house caretaker.
Right.
They can stay over for as long as 1 month. With a large group as well. So it does not. So what service apartment basically does for you is it does not restrict you in terms of because in hotels what happens is one room means 2 people max, and for the additional you'll have to pay a lot extra and all of that. But here 6 people comes, it's going to be the same. 10 people comes, it's going to be the same as
Right,
well.
right.
But then my maximum was for 10 people. So
So let me delve a little bit into your income scenario. I'm not asking you to quantify your income, but has it exceeded your expectation, or it hasn't reached there, or where are you income-wise?
it has definitely exceeded my expectation. I never thought that in such a short span of time. Right now I have a restaurant. I've just taken over a restaurant as well. From the profits I made, from my homestay and from my service apartment and all of that, I've invested it
Here I
into
think
my
I
restaurant.
need to pinch myself and realize if it's a dream or a reality, because I was talking to Ravin Basnet last week, and then he was telling me that he's doing this fantastic business, renting hotels and running. And you are telling me similar things, and you guys are young, and I used to think that to be able to manage hotels, as an owner, I thought you need to really be old enough, cross 50 and have some gray hair. Wow, this is just amazing. Wow. I mean, good.
Thank you.
So, our Sikkimese young people should learn, from people like you, that young people can do this.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And I
So
think
what's your next plan?
So my next plan is I've just recently taken over a hotel as well. So I'll be renovating the hotel, and then branding it and then running it. And then of course we are also. So I'm also a part of Entrepreneurs Hub, which is an
How many
NGO.
people have you given jobs to?
15 so far.
You are already a job provider. Right?
Yes.
I think Sikkim Chief Minister would be very happy with you. He wants all the Sikkimese people to become job providers, not job seekers.
In fact, recently we got a recognition certificate as well from him.
Yeah. By the way, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And you are also working in very close connection with other entrepreneurs. What are you doing with them?
So my first one was with Entrepreneurs Hub, which is an NGO, as Robinda must have already spoken about it. So
Right.
it's a platform wherein we want entrepreneurs, the budding, aspiring, successful entrepreneurs, to come onto one platform, share ideas, help each other. I think we need that a lot in today's time, because if you want to compete on a national level,
Right.
you need to have that
Exactly.
bond and that
Yeah, and I'm really amazed at your bonding. You must have met them for the first time. Many of
yes
them.
yes
And then you guys just bonded
absolutely.
as siblings.
We, in fact, through Entrepreneurs Hub, we've conducted 6 workshops already. Already to 6 different locations. We've been to Kaluk, Namthang, Yangyang, Namchi, 2 times in Namchi.
I have seen some of those
Singtam.
clips on my Facebook thing, and how you guys are, inspiring the young people out there in, different parts of Sikkim. But what I really love about the young entrepreneurs here is they are so transparent, they are so kind, generous, zero envy, always there to celebrate another person's success. which is just amazing.
It is, it
Isn't
is,
it?
it is, it is. So that was my first stint with the, with the new entrepreneurs that we have out here. And then recently, I've also been associated with Mr. Sikkim Manhunt 2018, which is one of its kind at the moment, because it's the only competition. This is the first actually competition for the men. We have Miss Sikkim, but for the men,
So you've already
in Sikkim.
shortlisted?
So we've already shortlisted
How many?
17 out of almost 200 applications that we've received. We had 2 days of rigorous audition for them, wherein we asked them to show us their talent, speak, and know
Were
who
they
they
impressive?
are. Some of them are very impressive. I think it was such a tough call. The judges, we had, of course, you have your favorite candidates as well, right? By the end of it, so we were fighting, because we had so many. By the end of it, we had shortlisted so many of them, but only 17 would get through the finale. So we had a tough time.
Sometimes don't you think that in Sikkim we are trying a little too hard? A few years ago, we used to be a very laid-back society, very inward-looking society, happy with ourselves, playing cards and going for a picnic and dancing there at the riverside and stuff. And suddenly now, here we are trying to do everything. Trying to do this music contest, singing contest, dance contest, Miss Sikkim and Mr. Sikkim and all those kinds of things. And we are even having Super League footballs and stuff. Is Sikkim actually mature enough to handle all this?
Absolutely, I think Sikkim's always been mature enough. It's just that we never had the right platform. When I also participated in Miss Tilotama, there was no such thing as Miss Sikkim out here. There was no such. There was a couple of competitions on
Very
and
low
off,
key.
but very low key and all of that. There was no proper grooming given, because grooming is the key. Grooming is the key. You can just change the whole scenario if you're groomed well, and I think right now what's happening is even the aspirations of the generation that we have right now is changing, and they aspire to be on a national platform and to win that competition and to win a lot of accolades and honors for themselves and for the state, of course.
Right. So the typical passion that you always had hasn't died here.
Not at all. Not at all. I
So
think you
the
can never take
typical
out.
Karishma Pradhan passion is just burning.
No, you can never take out a model. Even I think on my deathbed, I'll be like, do I look
So
okay?
some people are afraid to come back to Sikkim, thinking that I'm doing so well here, and I'm afraid once I go back to my home state, perhaps my passion could die down and stuff. But you haven't felt that.
No, not at all. I see so much opportunity out here. That's why I was sometimes, because we meet a lot of youngsters, because of what we've been doing with Entrepreneurs Hub. We've been meeting a lot of youngsters. We've been talking to them and taking a feedback.
Right.
Their understanding is we have no opportunity out here.
Right. My final question to you would be, I'm so glad that a young Sikkimese lady is doing so much in hotel management. I'm not even thinking about what you did outside Sikkim. Are there other women here of your age, perhaps younger, perhaps older, who seem to be doing the kind of thing that you are doing?
I think there are a couple of good
in hotel
upcoming
business.
entrepreneurs. Yes, there are a couple of good entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs who have come out. And
yeah, and would you be, trying to get more women into this business?
absolutely, that's
What would you do to get them to this business?
So what we've done so far is whenever we go on our workshops that's being conducted in the six locations already, we always make sure that we tell them that Entrepreneur Hub is a platform for them, and we would want as many entrepreneurs to come and join us, because it's a community that we want to form, a sustainable community we want to form. And what we also want to do is we want to sort of promote we want to promote a robust startup ecosystem in Sikkim, which is much required, because as you
And
see,
also, I think we need to redefine startup concept, because a lot of these boys I heard are getting startup loans and buying
vehicles.
luxury cars. Yeah.
Yes.
So we need to somehow break this shackle of thinking so linearly, so unidirectionally, and try other options as you have done for one, and many others are doing. Now I think, with a person like you, there can never be a last question, because we love picking your brains. But now that our time is over, I would like you to give you a message to young entrepreneurs, or perhaps people who are confused what to do, and people who are still stuck with the government job dreams.
I think it's very important to find what you love to do, be it government job, or be it business, or be it your social activities, anything that is, just find what you love to do, and follow it with a zeal and passion that's unmatched, like that you haven't seen it in yourself before, because that's very important. We make a lot of plans, we have so many ideas, probably I have like 100 ideas in my head, but execution and implementation is the key. Plan well, always execute and implement what that one idea is, because I'm sure there's so many dynamic aspiring entrepreneurs in our state who have so many good ideas, right? But you need to plan it well and also implement and execute it well. I am a part of Entrepreneurs Hub, and we would like to invite the aspiring, budding, even successful entrepreneurs onto our platform, so that we could form a tight-knit community and help our brothers, sisters, friends, and grow together. I think that's very important. Success is a team effort as well. Success cannot come just because of an individual effort. It is a teamwork, and I think with such dynamic system that we have right now, and good governance that we have right now, I think if we come together as a team, we can do much more, and we can achieve much more than what we are already achieving right now.
And I could not agree more. So if you are tossing an idea, and if you want to kind of see if that idea is good enough before you pitch it, they're available in Entrepreneurs Hub. And so my conclusion today is, we need people like Karishma Pradhan, who will go out of Sikkim, earn money, bring the money back, and invest here and earn here. That's the kind of Sikkimese young people we need at the moment. So it was really a pleasure talking to you,
It was
Karishma,
my pleasure.
And perhaps we'll call you maybe 6 months later or a year later and ask you how your journey is going.
Absolutely.
Because we will be watching your journey very closely, because in your journey lies a part of our success as a state.
Absolutely.
So see you again
Thank
next
you so
year,
much.
and all the best for your endeavors.
Thank
you for watching this show. We will be back next week with another set of guests, or perhaps another individual guest. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.